Let's move across to the top story today. The no confidence motion moved by the opposition against the Rajya Sabha chair. Well, triggered, as usual, a political storm in the Sansad. The Congress initiated a no trust motion in the Rajya Sabha with the support from TMC, Aam Aadmi Party and Samajwadi Party. Opposition leaders are accusing Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar of favoritism. And so far, 60 signatures have been gathered by the opposition on the no trust proposal. Parliamentary Affairs Mantri Kiran Rijiju condemned the motion, claiming the opposition is disrespecting Parliament and they don't quite have the numbers. And they don't have the numbers. The numbers are not on the opposition side. The NDA has 119 members compared to India's 85. Even with support from other members, the opposition falls short of the 116 votes needed for a simple majority to remove Rajya Sabha chairperson from its chair.
उनका इस कदम को मैं खंडन करना चाहता हूं। हमारे पास पूरा बहुमत है, एनडीए सरकार के पास पूरा संख्या है और सदन के पूरे मेजॉरिटी मेंबर्स उपराष्ट्रपति जी को ऊपर में पूरा भरोसा है। हम माननीय चेयरमैन का कामकाज से बहुत खुश हैं। ओसीसी, आरपी और कांग्रेस नेतृत्व का तालमेल जब से सामने में आए हैं तो कांग्रेस पार्टी और उनके कुछ साथी बहुत बुरी तरह से तिरमिलाए हुए हैं, घबराए हुए हैं।
सारे पार्टियां एक आवाज से कह रही हैं कि आप पक्षपात कर रहे हैं। आपका कर्तव्य बनता है कि बिना पक्षपात से आप सदन चलाएं। एलओपी को जो प्रतिपक्ष विपक्ष के नेता होते हैं उनको पूरा मौका मिलना चाहिए, सबकी बात सुननी चाहिए और एकदम एक तरफा निर्णय नहीं लेना है। तो हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि हमने अभी भी सेक्रेटरी जनरल साहब को पेश किया है, अभी हम उम्मीद करते हैं उस पर जो कार्रवाई होनी है वो होगी।
जिस तरह से राज्यसभा की कार्रवाई चल रही है कुछ दिनों से और पहले भी, वो लोकतंत्र के लिए सबसे बड़ा खतरा लगता है। एक वरिष्ठ सभागृह है, वरिष्ठ सदन है, लेकिन आपने कल देखा होगा कोई एक राष्ट्रीय मुद्दा जो बनता ही नहीं है उसके मुद्दे पर सिर्फ हमको बदनाम करना है, अपोजिशन को या सोनिया जी को या और किसी को, और पूरे दिन उसके ऊपर हंगामा करते रहे और चेयरमैन साहब उनको उत्तेजित करते रहे। ये हमने कल देखा है।
All right, joining me right now is my colleague Aishwarya, who covers the parliament very closely. Aishwarya, lot of rhetoric, lot of noise, but it will remain a token no confidence motion because when it comes down to numbers, the opposition just doesn't quite have it.
Well, they don't have it, Preeti, and let me also tell you this is more of a symbolic thing that the opposition wants to do, specifically the Congress party. The top leaders believe that there is an alleged bias against them, and that's the reason why they are saying that they will now bring in the no confidence motion. They have already got 60 signatures, far from what they actually need for this to be something very serious, but they believe that this bias needs to end, and that's the reason why we are seeing that there is a chorus that they want the chairperson, the Rajya Sabha chairperson, Jagdeep Dhankar, to listen to them. Now, we are seeing a tit for tat being played out in the parliament every day at about 10:30, Preeti. We are seeing those visuals of the Congress party and the other opposition parties taking the name of Adani. Now, the one name that has resonated throughout the session and from what we understand will also resonate in days to come is the Gautam Adani name. The Adani name is being taken by the opposition. They believe a JPC needs to be formed. The government on the other side speaking with the media, Kiran Rijiju coming out and saying that he's making an appeal. He wants the parliament to function. But apart from these token messages that the party is now given, we are not seeing any serious discussion taking place between the opposition and the ruling government. Preeti.
All right. Thanks, Aishwarya, for joining us with that quick update. Meanwhile, as Aishwarya also indicated, the Adani Soros storm has taken over Parliament. Total logjam in both houses with the BJP and Congress trading bars. While Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi are leading the Adani-Modi charge, the BJP is accusing the Congress of tying up with anti-India forces.
Please be seated, please.
Massive ruckus in Parliament yet again. Adani versus Soros war storms Sansad.
Please. सब लोग बैठिए, please. Please.
The BJP on Tuesday came down heavily on the Congress, specifically Sonia Gandhi, accusing her of links with US billionaire George Soros.
The Forum of Democratic Leaders of Asia Pacific, जिसकी को-चेयरपर्सन कांग्रेस पार्टी की वरिष्ठतम नेतृत्व है, महोदया भारत की संप्रभुता पर प्रश्न तो उठाती है, लेकिन साथ ही साथ वो जम्मू कश्मीर को एक सेपरेट स्टेट की एंटिटी के रूप में मानती है।
आपका शर्मनाक व्यवहार के वजह से जो सदन की गरिमा को ठेस पहुंचा है, आपको माफी मांगना चाहिए और जॉर्ज सोरोस और कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व के बीच में क्या रिश्ता है और देश विरोधी ताकतों के साथ आपका क्या संबंध है, इसके बारे में भी आप यहाँ सदन में माफी मांगना चाहिए।
Hitting back, Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra accused the BJP of using Soros to avoid a debate on Gautam Adani, who is indicted by a court in the US for alleged securities fraud.
The most ridiculous thing they could come up with. They're talking about some 1994. Nobody has any record of it. I don't know what they're talking. Nobody knows what they're talking about. The only reason they're doing it is they do not want to discuss it.
Opposition MPs led by the Gandhi siblings staged a protest in Parliament demanding debate on the Adani indictment. After protesting with Modi Adani mask on Monday, opposition MPs on Tuesday carried bags and wore T-shirts and jackets that read Modi Adani Bhai Bhai. Lok Sabha Speaker criticized the opposition MP's behavior in Parliament.
संसद परिसर में जिस प्रकार के प्रदर्शन किए जा रहे हैं, जिस प्रकार के नारे, पोस्टर, मुक्तों का प्रयोग किया जा रहा है, वह सिर्फ न अशोभनीय है, बल्कि हमारी नियम प्रक्रियाओं, संसदीय परंपराओं के अनुरूप भी है। मुझे बड़े अफसोस के साथ कहना पड़ रहा है, इसमें प्रतिपक्ष के बड़े नेताओं का आचरण व्यवहार भी संसदीय मर्यादा के अनुकूल नहीं है।
Adani versus Soros narrative took over parliamentary proceedings yet again, leading to adjournment. Parliament is staring at another washout. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's now shift focus in what's happening in Parliament to what's happening in the India Alliance, the India Bloc. The fight for the top leadership of the India Bloc has further widened the opposition. RJD Supremo Lalu Yadav is the latest India Neta now to back Mamata Banerjee for the top post to lead the alliance. But the Congress is unlikely to budge. With the party's track record in the recent Maharashtra and Haryana polls, other allies of the India Alliance seem this moment fit to go in and possibly try and get Mamata Banerjee in the place of the person who will lead the India Alliance. Is it just storm in a teacup or is there more of it? Take a look.
कौन बनेगा टीम इंडिया का कैप्टन? The big leadership question has the opposition alliance in a bind again. Chorus for Mamata Banerjee to take charge is getting louder. RJD chief Lalu Prasad is the latest to throw his weight behind the Bengal chief minister.
कांग्रेस की वजह से नहीं होगा, ममता को दो तो ममता जी को दे दिया जाए। हाँ दे दे, कांग्रेस की वजह से नहीं होगा, ममता को दो तो ममता जी को दे दिया जाए। हाँ दे दे।
Shiv Sena UBT, NCP SP and the Samajwadi Party have also endorsed Mamata Banerjee's leadership.
नेतृत्व में अगर इंडिया ब्लॉक के हमारे साथी बदलाव चाहते हैं, उसमें कुछ कारण हो सकते हैं, कुछ जिम्मेदारियां हो सकती है। तो कांग्रेस एक वरिष्ठ पार्टी है, राष्ट्रीय पार्टी है, तो कांग्रेस ने भी हमारे चर्चा में शामिल होकर उसमें हमको निर्णय लेने में मदद करनी चाहिए।
India bloc that is headed by Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge is unwilling to let go of the leadership role.
We should also understand that except Bengal, what is the strike rate of TMC, they should also tell.
What happened in Goa, what happened in Tripura, what happened in Meghalaya, what happened in Assam, what happened in Arunachal, what happened in Nagaland, what happened in all other states, what is the strike rate? These are all things which should not be discussed in media, but Mr. Kirti Azad has started, therefore I am asking this thing.
Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has gone a step further, hinting at collusion among the opposition allies.
और जो ये बात कहे जा रहा है ना कि इनके हटा के इनको, उनको हटा के इनको, ये टीएमसी पार्टी एक राष्ट्रीय पार्टी थे, आज वो क्षेत्रीय पार्टी में चले गए, राष्ट्रीय पार्टी की से क्षेत्रीय पार्टी बने गए और सिर्फ वो बंगाल में सीमित है.
Congress's taunts have triggered a strong response from the TMC.
कांग्रेस को समझना चाहिए कि कांग्रेस का लीडरशिप में इंडिया अलायंस फेल हो गया. ममता दी को ले आएंगे लीडरशिप में, उसमें अच्छा ही होगा. कांग्रेस का कोई लीडर अभी नहीं है जो दीदी का लड़ाई के लिए कंपैरिजन में है.
While there is no official decision on leadership change in the India bloc, some alliance partners are being cautious.
इंडिया गठबंधन की कोई मीटिंग हुई नहीं है, तो चेंज ऑफ लीडरशिप का सवाल कहां पे उठता है? मीटिंग होने दीजिए, उसमें अगर ममता बनर्जी साहिबा इंडिया ब्लॉक की सदारत संभालना चाहती हैं तो दावा वहां पे करें, उस पे बहस होगी. लेकिन इलेक्शन, पार्लियामानी इलेक्शन के बाद इंडिया ब्लॉक की कोई मीटिंग हुई नहीं है, तो लीडरशिप का सवाल कहां पे आ जाता है?
समाजवादी पार्टी तो ये चाहती है कि इंडिया गठबंधन कायम रहे और इंडिया गठबंधन मिलके चुनाव लड़े. गठबंधन के नेता तभी खड़गे साहब हैं.
With voices of discontent rising in the India bloc, the BJP is sniping at the Congress and Rahul Gandhi.
कौन ममता बनर्जी है? वही ममता बनर्जी जो बंगाल को बांग्लादेश बना रही है. पहले वो रोहिंग्या मुसलमानों को चिन्हित करके बाहर करे, बांग्लादेशियों को बाहर करे. ममता बनर्जी का चेहरा मुस्लिम परस्त और देश विरोधी चेहरा.
Can the Congress, with its drubbing in Haryana and Maharashtra, still hold on to its leadership position? Or will India Alliance change track? Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's cut across to my colleague Surya Agniroy joining us from Kolkata to get an understanding on what really is going on in the works where the TMC is concerned, Surya, because it's very interesting. It's not happenstance that suddenly you have the TMC speaking of it, then you have Mamta Banerjee speaking of it, then you have the allies of India bloc speaking of making Mamta Banerjee the head of the India alliance. What's going on within the TMC? What's the thinking?
Preeti, if we just look at what's happened in the past 7 days, barring the Congress, all the other allies have been pushing for a change of guard, for the India alliance, and there's a lot of weight behind Trinamool Congress Supremo and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee. But whether it happens or not, that's a completely different topic that we can speak on for us. But what you are asking me, the answer is pretty simple, and it's plain and simple. The Trinamool Congress is of the opinion that track record says, data says that it's the Trinamool Congress led by Mamta Banerjee that has been able to stop the BJP in not only one election but multiple elections. The latest being the 2024 general elections, where Trinamool Congress, got 28 seats, and the BJP's kitty fell down drastically from 2019. What their logic is that the Congress, in a 1:1 fight with the BJP in various states like, let's say, Maharashtra or Madhya Pradesh or Haryana, their performance has not been really well. Barring Karnataka, Congress in a 1:1 fight has not, performed well against the BJP. It's only in a united alliance, share where the Congress is able to, get into the government. For example, Jharkhand or Jammu and Kashmir. That is the reason why the Trinamool Congress is of the opinion that it's time that you put Mamta Banerjee at the behest of this entire alliance, and she can take on the BJP along with the other allies. But whether or not this happens, that's completely only future can say. But there's also another thing to this, Preeti, which is very important. Let's not forget what Mamta Banerjee has time and again stated, that she is not, she's not looking for a post in Delhi. what she's looking at, if the allies tell her, she will take care of that as the opposition leader, but she's not going to leave the administration in West Bengal. So that itself is another big important aspect to this entire story. Back to you.
All right, Surya Agni, appreciate you joining us with the very latest on that. With that, let's slip into the news break, which is just coming in. The EC has come out with a statement on the entire controversy, which the opposition has alleged over the EVMs. No discrepancies found in VVPATs counting in Maharashtra is what the EC suggests. The mandatory counting of a total of 1440 VVPAT slips in all 288 constituencies during the counting of votes for the Maharashtra Assembly and general election. Maharashtra Assembly has been completed on 23rd November 2024. The EC says after counting of votes in 5 polling stations in each assembly constituency, no discrepancy was found anywhere between the candidate-wise number of votes in the EVMs and the candidate-wise number of slips in the VVPAT machines. Reports have been received from all 36 district election officers in the state of Maharashtra. Ritvik Bhalekar joining us live on more. Ritvik, a fair amount of political storm which continues to brew in the state of Maharashtra at the back of what the Mahavikas Aghadi had alleged, where the EVMs and the VVPAT machines were concerned. What's the latest now coming in from the EC?
Absolutely, amid all the allegations and Marketwadi, the village in Marshira's assembly constituency of Maharashtra, opposition is trying to launch an full-blown attack and a protest against misuse of EVM, and during that time a chief electoral officer of Maharashtra has officially released a press release stating that there are no discrepancies found as per the guidelines of the Election Commission of India. VVPAT slips, nearly 1,440 slips were counted, and they were seen whether they are matching with the numbers of the votes polled in the EVM control unit. So there are no discrepancies found, and officially they have released a statement now. But at the same time, opposition leaders and MLAs are in Delhi. They are going to approach Supreme Court, and they are again going to fight against the misuse of EVM. We have to see that how opposition Mahavikas Aghadi as well as India Alliance will be planning their further protests.
Thank you, Ritvik, for joining us. Meanwhile, more news break right now from the Allahabad High Court. Remember, viewers, where we ran the story of a particular judge who sits at the Allahabad High Court and used the most communally offensive language at an event. The Allahabad High Court judge now has faced the ire of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has taken cognizance of his hate speech. The High Court judge said India will run as per majority. The Supreme Court has sought details from the Allahabad High Court on exactly what was stated by a sitting judge there. Shrishti Oja joining us live for more updates on that. Shrishti, Justice Yadav was the one who made communally charged statements at an event that he had attended. The Supreme Court now taking cognizance of that hate speech. What more can you add?
Well, yes, Preeti, we're talking about the statements which were made by Justice Yadav, who's also sitting judge of the Allahabad High Court. Now, we saw those statements spark a huge controversy, were immensely criticized all over even social media, with even lawyers calling for action against that particular judge. We also saw a letter being written to the Chief Justice of India today seeking in-house inquiry against the said judge, and also with the request to suspend all the judicial work from before him. Now, the highlight here is the Supreme Court has come into action. The court has, in a message that was circulated on behalf of the top court, we saw the court say that they've taken note of all the newspaper reports of a certain speech of Justice Yadav. They've also said that they've asked for details and particulars from the High Court, and the matter is under consideration. So the court has asked the Allahabad High Court to provide it with all the details and particulars of the judge and the incident in question. The court has clearly said that the matter is under consideration. So it will be crucial to now see, because as of now, they've taken cognizance of the entire issue on the administrative side of it and not on the judicial side. It will be crucial to see whether or not the court also decides to further take suo motu cognizance of the particular issue, or if it further decides to order an in-house inquiry against the judge or also suspend the judicial work as far as that particular judge is concerned. What action the top court will eventually take is something that we'll have to wait and watch and see what the top court decides to do. Back to you.
All right.
You are watching Fact Check segment where we bust fake news. A lightning offensive by Syrian rebels overthrew Bashar al-Assad's regime, reportedly forcing him to flee the country. As per reports, Assad and his family have been granted asylum in Russia's capital, Moscow. Kremlin sources allegedly told Russian news agency TASS and RIA Novosti that Assad and his family were granted asylum on humanitarian grounds. Now, a picture allegedly showing Assad after landing in Moscow is going viral. India Today Fact Check found that the viral photo is from February 2023 when Assad and his wife visited a hospital in Aleppo to meet earthquake victims. With the help of keywords, we found a video on the YouTube channel of a Syrian radio station uploaded on 10 February 2023. The video report detailed Bashar al-Assad's visit to Aleppo University Hospital to meet earthquake victims. The beginning of the video shows the same visuals as seen in the viral photo. Pictures of Assad's visit were also shared by the X account of the Syrian president at that time. At the time of publishing this on 9 December, there were no publicly available photos of the deposed Bashar al-Assad from Moscow. Thus, it's clear the viral photo has nothing to do with Assad fleeing to Moscow. This fact check on viral fake news is done by India Today's team AFA.